Hello and welcome to the Sound Test Room. My name is Jakob. I'm your host and you're watching a haQ episode. In this episode, I'm gonna tell you all you need to know about KIEV, how it works, what it basically is, and how to use it. KORG KIEV is a gadget inside KORG's Gadget, if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. KORG KIEV isn't really a synthesizer in the form of like subtractive synthesis or FM synthesis. This is basically a wave player. Each of the oscillators can be loaded up with waveforms. The only way to actually manipulate the waveforms is by pitch. Each of the oscillators have pitch options: A, B, C, and D. The A oscillator only has one knob for pitch, as the others have fine-tuning knobs. This is obviously because you would probably want to pitch all the other wave samples to the same tune as the main one. And these are the only ways to actually manipulate the samples inside, waveforms, whatever you want to call it, which makes this synthesizer very limited. But at the same time, KIEV's got a very strong thing working for it: the vector-based modulation. That is the kung fu of KIEV, and it is strong. So let's have a look at the vector view here. You can control the depth, and that is actually the volume, the strength of the volume between the A and B oscillators on this side between the C and D oscillators. Down here you have speed knobs, and these control the speed of the modulation between the oscillators. So this speed knob controls the speed between the A and B oscillator. Look at this. What it's actually doing, it's just switching the mix between oscillator A and B. Very simple, right? The other one is doing the same thing. Now it gets interesting when we start choosing other waveforms. Let's just take that down. I don't want to make you dizzy. Changing waveforms is very straightforward inside KORG KIEV. It's very similar to the London Gadget drum, and it can be a bit confusing if you're new to KORG's Gadget. You see, you open up the waveform browser by pressing this box here, and you can do that on each of the oscillators, but you actually don't have to do that to switch waveforms. If you look to the side here, you can see all the waveforms, and there's quite a few in there. Now you can't put your own waveforms in there yet. I'm hoping for KORG to do something about that in the future. If you look up here, you can see A, B, C, and D. So you can actually switch waveforms by placing the corresponding block for each oscillator on the waveform that you want. So if I want to have the noise pad on the B oscillator, I just do that. If I want to have the ether bell on the C oscillator, I just do that. I don't have to open up the waveform browser in each of the oscillators. You also have a sound program, and this is basically the preset browser, and you can browse between presets by pressing these arrows here. If we look down here, we have the keyboard with the scale and the octave modes. Up here we have another button. Press that, the second window of KORG's KIEV. KORG's KIEV also includes a filter section with its own envelope, and you control the strength of the envelope, how much the envelope affects the filter with this knob. You can either do it in plus increments or minus decrements. If you do it at minus, then you will invert the way that the envelope works. And if you do it at plus, then it will work as any conventional envelope. I can also add it's an ADSR envelope, and if you're a beginner to synthesis, then ADSR stands for attaQ, decay, sustain, and release. So if an envelope in any synthesizer says AD, it's basically just got an attaQ and decay knob. You also have a touchpad that control the peak and cutoff of the filter. You got 3 filter modes. You got low pass filter, high pass filter, and band pass filter. And let's use the envelope. Now let's say you've touched the pad and you want to undo what you've done here. Just press down your finger and pull it down to this side here. The last section is the effect and amplifier envelope, and the amplifier envelope affects the overall sound. Very straightforward. The effects section, you open up the effects browser right here, and here you can find a variety of equalizers, filters, phases, flange effects, delays, and reverbs. You control each effect with 2 knobs. What they do differ depending on what kind of effect it is. Let's say if you have a delay, then one knob will control the delay time and the other one will control the mix of it. If it's a filter, one knob will control the cutoff, the other one resonance or peak. If it's a reverb, then one knob will control the room size and the other one blend mix. And here you have the master volume out. Now this is all you need to know about KIEV. It's a wave looping vector-based modulation synthesizer. Very, very straightforward and simple to use. And you can build a wide variety of sounds utilizing all of the parts in here. I've been able to build kick drums and snares, and I've also been able to build lead sounds. But one of the strongest genres for KIEV is basically pads blended with a big reverb. That's what I love using KIEV for. So if you want to see me build one of those, then you can go check the video popping up in the card right here and go watch me build a ethereal pad using KORG's KIEV Gadget. Now if you haven't got KORG's Gadget, I'm not telling you to buy it, but you can find an app link down below in the description. And if you've got KORG's Gadget, I imagine you're gonna have a lot of fun with KIEV tonight. As usual, Doug Woods, Colin Sweeney, and me, Jakob at soundtools.com, wishes you a very productive week. Now go finger your surfaces and have a lot of fun doing it.